Gamestork, delivering news, reviews, and playthroughs like a newborn baby. Wonderboy 3: The Dragon's Trap originally released on Sega Master System in the 80s and was a big hit in Europe, but not so much a hit here. And that's the tricky thing when remaking a game like this, where it's beloved by many, but also there's a huge audience who has no idea of what it is or what it could be. Now, when playing this game, I was immediately fond of the great art style and the great music. Wonderboy is for the most part a very solid game that adds more depth to the library of the Nintendo Switch. Now, I began this Wonderboy while playing in dock mode and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't until I undocked the Switch and saw this game in its handheld form that it really resonated with me. The visual style in this game really struck a chord with me. I felt as if I was playing an animated movie for a good portion of gameplay. The color schemes were beautiful, the animation and movements of the characters, even just while walking, were very inspired and impressive. The character design was great, and the varying environments were a treat to look at. In case you want a more retro experience, you have the option of pressing R2 to switch to a classic pixelated view, and then pressing R3 changes the music to a classic style. And even in this mode, you can easily see the care put into the visuals of the game. The Dragon's Trap is an early example of what's now commonly called a Metroidvania. This style of game presents a free-roaming map that you're able to explore more of as you obtain new items and abilities. Now, most of your abilities in the Dragon's Trap come from the animal forms that you can take after beating the dragon bosses. You start off as a lizard man who has a limited defense and movement capabilities, but wields a ranged fire projectile. As you assume other forms, your abilities will greatly expand. A mouse man with small stature and the ability to scale certain walls, a piranha man who can swim through water freely, a lion man with a fierce offensive sword swinging, and a flight-capable hawk man who can soar the skies but rapidly loses health in water. Each of these forms offers a playstyle that's both unique and easy to grasp, and you won't have to struggle to relearn controls for each transformation. This game is a very clever adaptation of the classic game, and I was really impressed and I was really pulled in to really the care and the love that these creators put in, and it shows that they really had a passion for the original game. The redrawn visuals and music are superbly done. I can't say this enough. These visuals are captivating and they are inspired and they are just wonderful, and so is the music. I really loved it. And new additions make an already respectable game even more enticing. This game was already good back in the 80s, and it makes it even more enticing. Not to mention that, once you play through a certain amount, there are some ninjas, and what game from the 80s doesn't have ninjas in it? Okay, so, ninjas are awesome, by the way. As hard as it is on one of these games, and as much as I enjoyed it, it does have some hiccups. Now, the first is that it's easy to get stuck at a few points in the game. And by stuck, I mean stuck, because there's nothing that tells you what to do. And it leads you to this pig in the beginning of the game in the church that essentially tells you nothing. It kind of hints at something, but it doesn't tell you anything on where to go. So you kind of have to figure it out based off the abilities. So it's easy to get stuck if you haven't played this game before. And also the boss fights. Boss fights rely more on endurance and strategy. Boss fights, every single one of them, has the same exact strategy. It's hit the dragon in the head, whatever kind of dragon it is, and it just relies on you waiting and hitting them in the head. So there's not a lot of variation. Still, I had a lot of fun with this game. I think that it had a really good impact on me as far as an indie game, and I really enjoyed it. And I have to say that I do suggest that you purchase this game. It's only at $19.99, and it's a wonderful value. It should definitely, especially if you have a Nintendo Switch, this thing looks beautiful in handheld mode, and you should definitely add this game to your library. Despite its hiccups, I really enjoyed Wonderboy: The Dragon's Trap, and I highly suggest this game.